How about that? We're live. And honestly, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It's 3:01 right now, Eastern Standard Time. Might be the closest I've been live to the actual start time of one of these things in the history of me doing the things that I fucking do. Anyway, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of our online bottle shares. It's been a while. Since we've done one of these. I purposely went out of my way to not do these for a hot minute, just so y'all didn't have to feel like you needed to go out and actually get beer, which is kind of what I wanted to do. You know, I didn't want to sit here and have you guys feel like you needed to go out and procure beer during COVID times, and it just didn't seem like the right thing to do. But I decided that, yeah, it's about time we start this up again. It's been a little bit easier as far as procuring beer has gone. So I figured, why not start it up again? And then we'll actually hang out, chug a couple beers, see what's what, and go from there. So what we typically do in this fashion, like I said, the whole premise of this is for us to actually sit around and actually drink beer and kind of drink the same beer and kind of talk about it and do all those kind of things. And so that way you guys can drink along and have fun. And we try to do these as democratic as possible. What we'll do is usually pick a beer that we want to do for these shares, or style at least, and kind of pick some of the more seminal ones of that style. And this time it was Belgian Double, which is actually suggested to us by Mercy Beers. Actually, he says, "Evening, what's going on?" And he said, "Let's do Westmalle Double." And I said, "Well, let's open it up to the panel, and we'll put a bunch of doubles out there." And I put up Westmalle. I put up let's see, we put up Maudit. We put up what we're doing today, which is Rochefort 6. Put up, I think, Chimay Red, and maybe another one floating around in there, Trappist, or a Koningshoven, Trap Double. And the old Rochefort, which I have right here, waiting to actually come on. It is I'm losing my train of thought. Anyway, it won, and but I didn't want to make it like absolutely exclusive to just that beer. I think it's a little bit better off for us to kind of open it up. So this is the one that I definitely will have. I said I'd try to get the other ones, and I couldn't get them. I'm so pissed because I told, I mentioned the Mercy Beers. I was like, man, I will get a Westmalle Double so you can sit around and drink that together. I went to a total of 9 bottle shops over the past 2 days looking for a Westmalle Double. Nothing. Could not find it at all. So that was kind of a bummer. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we're going to do with this. We're going to sit around, drink some beers. We're going to invite some friends in. And there we go. First one's in the chute. What's going on, homie?
Hello, how's it going?
No, what's going on, man? What do you get? What are you drinking? Do you bring a double in tow, or what do you got?
I was just about to get a beer from the Prairie. I've got it downstairs. We're going to get one in it. It's called Joe Weekend. It's a marshmallow, coconut, and something stout, Imperial stout.
Oh, damn. Prairie, yeah, Prairie doesn't mess around when it comes to those things. Yeah, do you happen to have a Belgian Double that you could drink along with us, or no?
I have not, no.
Okay, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you do or not. But yeah, for the first portion of this, we'll be focusing. We'll take a couple minutes, maybe wait till about 10 to 15 minutes in to let people kind of get in here, and then what we'll do is we cover a specific beer. We're gonna be doing Trappist Rochefort 6. I'm doing this. We have other people coming in with Westmalle and a couple of other different versions of the beer, and after that, it ends up being like a general kind of hangout. Just like all the other ones we do, but it's a kind of specific beer focus. You don't have to leave or anything like that. That's what I'm saying. But that's the whole kind of premise. Well, when I put the message in the chat, I actually wrote. I don't know if you read what I wrote before it. It said, "If you have a double, join. If you don't, wait till after." No. It's okay, man. It's okay. No worries. There's no rules in beer, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Anyway, okay, good. But Prairie's awesome stuff, man. We should probably do like a pastry stout one eventually, one of these. And if we're gonna do a pastry stout, there's a very good chance that people will pick Prairie, because I mean, you get Prairie stuff over there. That's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? That you guys get it.
I got some on the McKellar website.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And they just sell it via their website, like their web shop.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I mean, Prairie used to be a beer around here that was like really a really hard get. Like any of their beers was like a really hard get. You couldn't get it for years, but probably about 2 or 3 years ago, all of a sudden now I can go to a local place, and they'll have anywhere from like 4 to 10 different Prairies available.
Really?
And all the big huge, barrel stouts, bomb, and all the kind of crazy ones that they make and stuff like that.
All the barrel aged best ones they do, yeah.
Yeah. And then we got a little bit of a tip off on you. He says you are very drunk at the moment, which is fine if you are. I don't give a shit if you are.
I'm a little bit drunk. I've had a few drinks.
This early in the afternoon, it's only 3 now. Oh, wait, yeah, that's right. It's like 9 o'clock at night for you or something like that. Anyway.
Are you watching? I was going to say, you not watching the Champions League final?
Why would I? No, I have not. Yeah, I didn't. When I planned this, I actually forgot that it was on, because it is what it is. But what is it right now? Did it start yet, or did it start in half an hour?
It starts. Oh, it starts 8 minutes in.
6 minutes in. Who are you pulling for?
Oh, I did a bet on Bayern to win.
Oh, you actually placed a bet?
Yeah.
How much?
£100.
Okay. And what's the payoff? Just is it straight to win, or do you have to pay? You bet 100. What do you win? What are the odds?
I'll just win out to win. I'll get 190 back if it comes.
Oh, really? Wait,
back.
PSG's favored by that much?
No, I did Bayern to win.
Oh,
I did Bayern to win.
So you bet 100, so you get 190 back. So that means you bet 100 to win 90.
£90 back.
Okay. Is that $10 difference to VIG, the cost you have to pay for the bet, or is it just that Bayern was favored slightly, so you get a little bit less odds? Like, what if you placed 100 on PSG? Would it be the same payout?
I'm not sure. Well, I didn't look at PSG. I thought Bayern would win. I didn't look at the odds on PSG.
Oh, okay.
9-1, basically 9-1. It's £100 on. Do you see Arsenal have signed Gabriel?
Is it for real? Because I've seen a bunch of shit where they're saying they're signing him. I haven't seen an announcement yet from the team itself. Did they announce it?
They haven't announced it, but all the best people that know about football said we signed him. So
yeah, I've been through that before. You know what I mean? Like there's so many times where we signed him. But like if I go. If somebody like who said it, like did what's his name say it? Like what's the people I listen to typically are going to be either like the Ars Blog guys, whether it be Mangum or
also Fan TV.
I don't fuck with Arsenal Fan TV, man. I actually don't. Yeah, I can't. I don't know. But I think it's close to a done deal. But I wouldn't put my money in it, man.
He's had his medical, apparently.
Yeah, I know that, but also it's like, who knows? Because it took us so long to announce William. Yeah. Because it took like an extra week. I don't know why they said, because the photographers went somewhere or some shit, or I don't fucking know. But we'll see. But until one of those guys, it doesn't have to be Arsenal announcing. But once you have one of those guys kind of say it, it is.
But I think it's good. I don't want to get over the top, but I think if we do get him, he's a good signing for us, I think.
Yeah, I mean, really. See, I don't think we're that bad off as people think, because I think we're getting a lot of people back from injury. Like once we get Saliba in from him, actually, even though he's young. once you get Saliba in, then you have Bellerin, who's going to come into the year healthy, which is a big fucking thing. I don't think people realize how hurt he was, and he actually looked like himself towards the end of the year. And then, and then we have who else? And then Tierney's fucking Jesus at this point, and so our defense is actually kind of getting a little bit better. I mean, and I think we're fine up front. Even I hope Lacazette stays, but if we get somebody else and Lacazette goes, that's fine. But if we need a creative midfielder, we need an Ozil who will actually be part of the team and play. If we get a creative midfielder, I think we'll be pretty damn good. I think we could be top 4.
I think we're gonna get that guy from Lyon. Have you heard of it? That guy that that midfielder. Hopefully get him. I don't know if we are gonna get him, but he looks good. He looks very good.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, at this point, we need one more defensive-minded midfielder, or even just defense in general, and then midfielder, and then get rid of some motherfuckers. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if we don't get rid of Ozil, I actually like Ozil. If we don't get rid of him, I gotta put one of those timers that has like this many days till his contract's over, because it's another year. So even if we don't get rid of him, we at least know a year from now he'll be gone. And that's where like a lot of people got really, this turned into a soccer chat. Like it's a lot of the people who like kind of get pissed off about what we paid William. It's fine because next year Ozil's off, then technically it's kind of like a wash. Like we're paying him what, £300 a week or something? £300
a week.
And so Ozil's $350. So really we're in my brain we're saving £50. £50,000 a week. You know what I mean? It kind of makes sense in my brain that way. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Anyway,
Arteta doesn't like him, and I think he doesn't like.
He must not, because he played with him too, so he knows him. It's not like he doesn't know him. You know, he played with with him. Yeah. So I don't even. It's also, I think, I don't even know. How do I put it? It might not even be a matter of him not liking him. It might be a matter of he needed to stamp his foot in the ground and be like, this is how shit's gonna be.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? This is how we're running the fucking show.
Yeah. You do things my way or you're out.
Yeah, and you know, you got to do that. You know, they say the best thing to do when you go to prison is punch somebody in the face. And you know, you fucking just punch that motherfucker in the face. Like, even like I thought Guendouzi was awesome, but he was like, "Go fuck yourself." Even like you're not playing. Like, go away. You're not even allowed around us. So I kind of dig that, and it's almost. But it's almost to the point now where even if, like, let's say Ozil somehow miraculously like ends up being like not a douche, I don't think he can bring him back. He just can't do it anymore. Like, he can't. He has to. Like, even if like something happens, he just will be like, "Sorry, man." Yeah. You know, you either go somebody else or just
you better do something, and that's it.
Yeah, you want to play it for the under 21s? Go right ahead. Yeah, have fun with it. You know, whatever. So we'll see. But I'm pumped. I'm always cautiously optimistic, and by cautious I mean I'm totally optimistic every year, and I always think we're going to be awesome. But I mean, who else is getting better? I mean, Manchester United got a little bit better. Tottenham's going to be fucking hot garbage.
Tottenham, there's a lot of clubs that have got a lot of money to play with. Like, there's so many like billionaire like buyers coming into the Premier League. Yeah, like Newcastle were going to get bought out by the do you know the ones what was it? They had a very shady kind of like background kind of thing.
So everybody, that narrows it down to like pretty all much, businessmen.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, considering that like Chelsea is run by a war criminal and fucking you know what I mean? Like he is. Abramovich is a fucking war criminal, man. Like it is what it is. But yeah. So but that's the thing. Like, but does that really make like? Is it who's gonna buy you? Is it gonna be a Stan Kroenke billionaire who doesn't want to spend his money, or is it gonna be like Man City billionaire where he's like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, I'm gonna spend all of the money, and then I'll get in trouble, and I'll appeal it, and I won't get a fine, and I'll just spend more money. Like that whole fucking thing. ended up nothing happened to them. So it's like, okay, everybody needs to cheat now. Like, what's the fucking? There's no penalty for cheating. Like, there's none. So might as well fucking do it. But our guy won't do it. Our guy won't do it.
What's wrong with him, man? He's flipping like worth like what is he worth? Like 8 billion or something.
Kroenke?
Yeah, he's worth a lot of money, isn't he?
Oh, he owns so many sports teams. He owns like an NFL team. He owns the Premier League team. He owns MLS team. He owns I think he owns a hockey team. He might own he owns a basketball. Like most people have enough money to buy one team. You know what I mean? And then when they don't have enough money to buy one team, they're part of a group, like the group that owns Manchester United. They're not one person. They're a group. No, Crocky's is like, I own it. It's my shit. Here's my son. Here's my son. Go run it.
Yeah.
So it's like obscene amount of money. You know,
pay out, motherfucker. Pay out your money.
Yeah. Well, in all fairness, though, and this is the thing, people will get pissed off. They have spent fucking money. I mean, $70 million for Pepe. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, and they have spent here and there. They have spent money. It's just they've spent it badly. That's all. You know what I mean? Like, if they spent it more wisely. I mean, what we paid fucking Mustafi, we paid what, 32, 35 million or something like that? It's like, fuck.
But the stadium before COVID, that was one of the most. It was the most growth, like the incoming, like for every week. They make most money per stadium.
Oh yeah. We hand over fist. Yeah. And we own the stadium. That's the thing too. Like, we didn't have a loan. We didn't have a loan out on it, so everything was profit. So that's why when they fired those people, they did the redundancy thing. It's like, you're getting rid of $2 million worth of stuff. Like that's like a couple weeks' wages for people. Like that's not going to do anything for you.
Definitely.
I didn't understand that at all.
And then you're going to pay like 27 million for Gabriel, and then you could like
we can't pay you £40,000 a year. We're going to sign this 32-year-old and pay him a third of $1 million a fucking week. It's like, okay, but you understand it. You know what I mean? Like that person who works in the front office. Yeah, they're not putting asses in the seats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now the scary part is the scouting, the recruiting, like that. If they cut the shit out of that, like what's the plan behind that? Because that's crucial. So it's like, what's the rhyme or reason behind it? I can understand, somebody's that's like a HR department guy. It sucks that they lost their job, but that doesn't really affect the football side of things. But like you're talking about scouting, advanced scouting, the people that found Martinelli, the people that found all these great players, like I think they're kind of crucial, but I'll wait to pass judgment and see what they do.
I think they're giving the other guy that new job, and plus they're given Arteta and Edu a bit more leeway in like looking for players as well.
No, like a fucking. Like that's the one cool thing about having Arteta in there. He's more of a manager, not a coach. Like he was kind of, I'm not saying he's Arsene Wenger level stuff, but like Emery, when I genuinely did like Emery, like he was like, you coach a team. That's it. Like, that's all you fucking do. Where I think Arteta had him by the balls going, you need me. I want to come, but if I come, you got to give me power.
The players I want to exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Okay,
and we're gonna dive into the Trappist Rochefort. I have not had this beer in so long, guys. I have no idea last time I had this. If I actually buy a Rochefort, it's gonna be the 8 or the 10. So the last time I had this, I know some people like the 8's a little bit more kind of doubly. I think that's more strong darky. This is a little bit lighter, but we'll see what's what. We'll dive into this sucker. Everybody should be here. Got a little proper glassware for you guys. Look at that. It's got a crack in it, though. I don't know if you guys can see it. Ooh, crack in it, but it'll still work. So I broke out my broken Trappistes Rochefort glass, and we'll see what's what. Belgian Dubbels are actually the beer that got me into beer. Yeah, the Unibrow Maudit was like the beer that really kind of got me into craft beer. So we'll see what's. Oh, that's way lighter than I remember it being, man. Yeah, it's probably a little bit lighter than what I'd call a classic double. Maybe not. Maybe just a shade lighter. But yeah, I'm kind of pumped for this. I'm dealing with the 2018 version. So this is a bit over 2 years old, which I think is probably about wheelhouse for this style. And like I said, as far as doubles go, that's pretty spot on. Maybe a shade or two lighter than what I typically look for in a double. I think that's more me just wishing it was slightly a little bit darker, but nice soft off-white head, a little bit of khaki colors to it, and just a little bit of soft murky haze to it. I mean, man, look at that, buddy. Yeah, off to a good start here. Let's see if we get a nose without spilling and everything. I mean, it smells all the parts of what I love about Belgian beer. It's just, which is surprising me. There's a little bit of a tannic kind of tea, like hoppy thing going on here, which I did not expect. So it's got those soft, bready notes, a little bit of caramel, kind of like rich bread, like not necessarily like a fruit, like a fruit cake kind of bread, but not necessarily like a plain brown bread. It's somewhere in between those two kind of things. So you get those soft little kind of fruit notes that you expect from a Belgian yeast, but nothing over the top. And then it just a little bit of breadiness. And like I said, there's this little bit of bittering in there. Just a little bit that I didn't expect to come out with this beer. It has this nice softness to it. Everything that I kind of love when it comes to Belgian doubles. It looks awesome. I'm just diving in. Cheers. That's fucking awesome. God damn it. And now I know why I got into beer through Belgian doubles, man. Oh, man. I can't believe it's been that long since I've had one of these. Jesus God. So good. I mean, it's really everything you got in that in the nose, or everything that I got in the nose is kind of there in the taste, but way more amplified than you think it would be, because it has that little bit of breadiness, that little bit of kind of like you sprinkle a little bit of sugar into the doughy kind of thing. Now, you're not making it like a fruit cake kind of thing, but there's a sweetness to that breadiness. The fruit component of this, the way these rich, dark kind of cherry, plummy kind of things come off, slightly underripened, but super vibrant. It's almost at a point where it's like floral. It's like orchard-like. It's almost like a saison in a sense, in the way that kind of that fruit kind of comes off. And when I mean that saison portion of the show is that like there's fruit beer, there's fruit esters you get from beers. Some of them are like really jammy, like confectionery jammy. Some are like fresh fruit, like actual pureed fruitiness. And then one of my favorites, and this is why I said saison, like, is that there's the orchard fruit, which to me is more like you're walking through a full bloom orchard of a fruit. So you could smell the fruit, but you also smell the yeastiness, and you smell the floral flower portion of the orchard, like the whole kit and caboodle of the orchard all together. So it's not just the fruit, it's the skin and the flowers and every part and bit and part of it. And that's kind of what I'm getting in here, which is one of the reasons why I think I fell in love with the beer so much. I mean, my first real foray in a craft beer, I had a couple leading up to that, but around like 1997, 1998 is when I went to Canada. I had Unibrow Maudit, which is a Belgian double, much darker version, and obviously Canadian born. And that's really what got me hooked in the craft beer. So it was my gateway drug in the craft beer, and I kind of realized why. Yeah, just super good. Yeah. Man, I could drink so many of these too. Good God. 7.5% alcohol by volume. Drinks appropriate level. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Yeah. This is good. We're going to have Rob from Hopzine should be stopping by. He has an old bottle in his cupboard, but he's cooking up a little bit of food at the moment. And
are you doing a review or not?
Me? Yeah. You can talk. Well, like I said, what we do in this particular video is I do a live review of a beer, and I announce these weeks in ahead of time so people can get the beers and drink along while I'm doing them. It's kind of like a live, I call them online bottle shares, to where we all have the same kind of beer or same style of beer, and everybody kind of shares and stuff like that. But you can talk. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Yeah, I'm not doing like a review. We accidentally aged Westmont for 2018. Just chucked it in the fridge right now. Same issue to the other for me. And he actually says Matt is getting ready for next weekend to lose the Charity Shield. Maybe not. We'll see. I mean, we're coming off a hot streak. We're playing well. We'll see what happens. But we already had the football portion of the show, so we're not going to go back there. Anyway, and what is it?
This is nice.
How's your beer? Yeah. What is that again? It's a marshmallow stout?
Yeah, it's a weekend. It's called Prairie. It's a imperial stout with coconut, cacao nibs, and marshmallow, which is lovely. Really nice sweetness to it.
Yeah, Prairie's got that pastry stout game on lock. They do some of the best ones out there. And did you ever have any other barrel aged variants? Because they're quite nice. Yeah, their barrel aged variants are really, really, really good. What did you pay for that bottle? Just out of curiosity.
I think it was like $8.50. I think around that.
Okay, that's actually not too bad. That's not too bad, actually. Like that bottle would probably go for here American, probably $6 to $7.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, so you're not. I mean, you're paying import prices, but it's not super marked up. Like their non-barrel aged pastries usually go between $6 and $7 American, and their barrel aged bottles usually go between 10 to 11 American, somewhere right around there. So,
do you have to pay like 4-packs, or can you get them in the singles?
No, you can get them. Actually, it's harder to find them in 4-packs than it is singles. Like, so you could find a 4-pack, but 99% of the time they break those all into singles.
Oh, okay.
Like they rarely ever sell them in 4-packs. You can every now and then you'll find them, but that's almost all stout and high ABV stuff. Like even if they come in a 4-pack, bottle shops will sell them as singles, not as 4-pack. Yeah. Because I think it's a sticker shock thing. Because you're like, oh, this bottle, it's only $8. Be like, that's not bad. But if you have to buy a 4-pack of it, and you're like, this is like $35 for a 4-pack, I don't want to buy that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Rob chiming in with, has Rory had 10 bottles of Duvel? So I guess you're coming off a little bit tipsy, brother. You seem fine to me, but then again, all you weird English people sound the same to me.
10 bottles of Prairie.
Oh, Jesus. No, you'd be dead if you drank 10 bottles of Prairie.
I'm a bit drunk. I'm starting like Seaside Mark, but
yeah, nothing wrong with that, brother.
I'm drunk.
When's the last time you had a Belgian double? Let me ask you that.
I really like Rochefort actually. I like I've not the double. I prefer the triple.
Oh yeah, like the 10 or the 8.
Yeah, the
8,
the 10, the 8,
the 10. Yeah, the 10's the quad and 8's a triple, I believe. Yeah.
I prefer the quad. Oh, sorry, I prefer the quad.
Okay, yeah. The quad is like I think the quad Rochefort 10 is the best Belgian quadruple. Period. End of sentence.
Obviously, yeah.
I think it's better than West Vlietelen. It's better than all of them. I think it's that fucking good. It's so good.
Agreed. Yeah, completely.
Yeah. What do you pay for these over there? I'm curious about price points nowadays.
I haven't had that for ages. Such a long time now. I couldn't tell you. I used to pay. I can't remember now. I couldn't tell. About £6 maybe.
Okay, that's what we pay pretty much. $6, $6-7 American over here.
Yeah.
These, and you want to talk about cheap? Canada. In Canada, a bottle of I don't know what the 6 is, but the 10 in Canada, you can get it for like $3.50 Canadian, which is like $2.75 American.
Really, that's mad.
Yeah, it's insane. Like it's so funny. Anytime I go to Canada, you think I'd be buying all these crazy boutique beers. No, I just buy imports from Belgium and Europe because I'm like, yeah, like this is like $2. When I go home, I have to pay $10. I'm like, I'm like, fuck Canadian beer. I'm just going up there for the Belgian beer.
Good tasting beer for being quarter the price.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, this is worth every penny that it is here because, like I said, like when I do these kind of online shares, it's typically widely available styles. Obviously, I'm not going to pick a beer that you have to go to a brewery to get, then because no one can drink along. You know what I mean? So I try to pick. What I typically do is I'll do one of these, and I did these almost about every 3 to 4 weeks before COVID hit, and I stopped doing them during COVID because I didn't want people to feel like they had to go out and buy beer. And then now it's a little bit easier. So this is the first one I've done since I think February or March. And typically what I do is I'll do one of these. And then towards the end, I'll be like, what does everybody else want to do for the next share? Then I'll have a bunch of people give us suggestions.
Accessible to them.
And that way I'll have a bunch of people give suggestions. And then like if someone says, for example, like someone once said, oh, okay, let's do Dogfish 60 minute. I was like, okay. Well, then I'm like, okay, I'll think of a bunch of beers similar to that. And then I'll be like, I'll put up a poll on YouTube and be like, let everybody vote. And whichever one wins, that's the one we drink. And in this case, I put up, like I said, 5 different beers. And this one won, not in a landslide, but it was by far and away the most popular one. And it ends up working out pretty good. We usually have a pretty good, decent following. I'm actually really surprised that not more people are commenting. Usually they're pretty lively in the comments, but it's a Belgian beer. It's 3:00 on a Saturday, so who the fuck knows? But yeah,
is it quite accessible? The Rochefort around where you are?
I can find any of their beers. Well, not any of them, but I can find like usually the 10. Then the 6 or then the 8 and the 6 as far as frequency, but I can always find them. Like if I want one, I can drive. It'd probably take less than a 20-25 minute drive and I can find one. Like that's easily. Good. Yeah, it's always available. It's always at like because we have like in the United States we have bottle shops that sell like liquor and beer, but then we also have like grocery stores, supermarkets that sell beer. And it's one of the almost every single supermarket will sell this beer. It's like a classic Belgian style, Trappist style beer that almost every kind of big marketplace will carry because they'll always,
it's like a Tesco, like a Tesco's for us or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And it's always been around. Like I've always been able to get this beer and I've never not been able to get it, and which is actually it's slightly changing because, like I said, Adam was he has a Westmalle, and I was gonna get a Westmalle, and that way I could drink that one too on here, and I could not find one, and it absolutely blew me away. Typically I can find that beer, but I went to 9 different places over 2 days trying to find a Westmalle. I couldn't find it, which is totally insane. Like I was like, how the fuck is this even possible? Is what it is.
Westmalle is on that, but isn't that accessible to us actually? Where I've been, I've never been able to find it that easily.
Really?
Yeah, it's a bit of a hard one to get hold of.
Yeah, it's not as popular in the States. It's not as popular as Rochefort, but it's usually available. Like I drink them. I could drink them a couple times a year, and it's usually never hard to find. But obviously, when I look for it, I can't find it at all. So yeah, here's what it is. But this is absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, so I would love to live where you are. Like, have a good like stream of like good easy access to like good double IPAs from like the New York area or New York City area, like Equilibrium. Other half.
Do I have easy access to those?
Yeah.
It's weird because of COVID. Because COVID changed a lot of stuff. But before COVID, Equilibrium was only brewery only.
Right.
Minus little. They would like put cans out every now and then, but it was very rare. It was almost like special occasion stuff. But the Equilibrium's only an hour drive away from me.
That's what I mean. I could drive him up. Yeah.
I can, if you, from where I live right now, I could get to Equilibrium, all the Brooklyn breweries, other half, Finback, all those breweries. I can get to New York, I can get to Philadelphia, and I can get to like a bunch of other breweries along the way in less than an hour or less than an hour. So it's, I can actually drive. What I could do is I can drive maybe, it's like 10 minutes away from me. If I drive 10 minutes, I can get on a train and take the train to Philly or New York. So I don't even have to drive if I didn't want to. And you're allowed to drink on the train in the United States. I don't know if, so it's like you sit on the train, have a couple of beers, go pick up some beer, have some beers on the way back. But Equilibrium is actually a great little drive for me. It's like I have like a little sport. I have like a Volkswagen GTI, a little car you rip around in because I like to drive fast and shit. And like Equilibrium's an hour north of me, but it's all back roads in the middle of nowhere. So I get to do like 100 miles per hour driving like an asshole. It's fucking awesome. And then once I get to Equilibrium, there's like, once I go there, I drive home and I can hit maybe 8 more breweries that make beers just as good as Equilibrium on my way home. So it's like I just and just kind of work my way home, going to all these random different breweries and stuff like that. So it's a nice little afternoon. It takes an hour to get up, takes an hour to get back, and then throw 3 or 4 hours of brewery visits in the middle, and you're good to go.
It's worth the trip if you're going to go like definitely. Pick a couple from them, couple from them, kind of thing.
Oh, awesome. So what's the score in the match right now?
At the moment, it's 0-0, I think. I need Bayern Munich to score soon.
Are you a big bettor?
Well, not really. No, not really. I don't bet more than I can afford to lose, if you know what I mean.
Oh no, I don't mean big as in money. I mean often, frequency.
No, I don't. No, I try and like statistical bets kind of thing.
Yeah. See, that's the weird thing. It's like we're so far behind betting here in the United States. I used to be a big sports gambler. I used to bet a lot, not a lot of money, but often. Like I probably bet like 200 to 300 on a weekend, pretty much every weekend for a couple of years, and I was really good at it actually. Like I ended up every year, I always ended up making money. I never lost money, so I'm lucky in that sense. Yeah. And I just stopped doing it. I don't know why. I just stopped doing it. It was fun. Yeah, it was fun. I had fun with it. But when I would do it, it was always illegal. I had to use a bookie. You know what I mean? I had to it wasn't legal for me to do. But now it's changed over the past couple of years in the United States. And then what I always tell people about, in England and like, if you're on like, Arsenal's website, it's like literally click here to place a bet, and people are like, really? They don't understand that it's like normal. It's like you could literally get to the bet site from the fucking club's website. You know what I mean? Like, and they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. It's like everybody gambles but us. And but it's finally changed now to where we can actually do that kind of stuff. But it changed after I stopped doing it. And I didn't quit because it was like a problem or I was losing money. It just kind of fizzed out for me. And it's like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I've got a couple of betting websites on my phone, which is dangerous in a lot of ways. Where you can just click. You don't have to go to a bookies or anything. You don't have to go to like.
Well, see, that's the way it is in the States now. Like, if I want to bet, it's almost all online.
Yeah.
So I won't. I wouldn't do that because I'd be half in the bag dropping fucking 10K bets on fucking horse racing in fucking Algiers or some shit. Yeah.
I wouldn't know about horse racing, but football.
Well, American football. That was what I bet on. American football, and that's pretty much it. I bet on boxing quite a bit, but that's few and far between because there was not a ton of matches. But American football was every weekend, and then like for the Super Bowl, we would a group of us because I used to go. One of the main reasons why I stopped betting is that a good friend of mine owned a bar, like a pub, and and we would all go there every Sunday to watch American football, and we all bet. So that was kind of one of the big. We sit around, place bets, blah 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 blah. And then he ended up passing away, so it was kind of like I stopped before he passed away. But it was kind of like, okay, he's not around anymore, and we all used to meet up to do that. We don't do it anymore. But we used to his pub. He'd close for the Super Bowl, and we'd have a private party and invite like a lot of the regular patrons and stuff like that. And we would go crazy. One year we were like, let's see how much money we can collect from everybody in the private party, and see how much money we could put on a coin flip. And we ended up placing a $7,000 bet on a coin flip.
Shit. And
we lost. Yeah, seven. I mean, it was $100 here, $50 there from a bunch of different people, but we got it up to. I think it ended up being $7,200, and we lost. We're like, motherfucker. I was like, whatever.
That's painful as fuck.
yeah, but there's in the United States they do all these crazy wacky bets on the Super Bowl. Like stuff you'd be like, really? They do that kind of shit? Like they're in the United States for the Super Bowl, they sing the national anthem before the Super Bowl. You can bet the over under on a national anthem how long it's gonna go. They'd be like, is it gonna be over 3.5 minutes or under 3.5 minutes? You know what I mean? Shit like straight up, dude, stuff like that, and be like, they'll be like, like a certain popular players playing in the Super Bowl, like, are they going to show their parents more than 3 times or less than 3 times? You can bet on that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
See the show. End it now.
Yeah.
And the home of the brave. Fuck off.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's used to the one year. It's like they almost like there's almost like betting fraud because like that you shouldn't be able to bet on that because the person who's singing could know and bet on it and then purposely go over. It's not like real sport. So the people are like sometimes like, you'll see sometimes when like someone's singing and they'll get to the end and they'll be like, and the brave, and they'll keep repeating the last word over and over like that person bet the over. They bet the over, that fucker,
Right.
So what's
I'm sweating. I'm sweating. It's 0-0. No, I still think Bayern will win it.
That's soccer for you.
That's soccer for you.
But I mean, did you bet Bayern because you are a fan, or you just hate PSG, or you just feel like Bayern's going to win?
I just think Bayern destroy everyone, don't they? At the moment.
Yeah, but PSG. You know what I mean? Like PSG, I hate them, but they don't suck. You know what I mean? Like
they don't suck, but Bayern have just been. They've destroyed Leon. They destroyed.
I mean, what's the old adage? Be like, what is football? Be like, it's like 11 guys play 11 guys, and in the end the Germans win.
Yeah, Germans would win. Especially on penalties.
But isn't Bayern kind of? I'm not saying they're not good because obviously they're Champions League final, but haven't they kind of lost a little bit of luster? Like, what did they end up as? I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, they've got back to their best again. Bayern are top.
What did they?
They beat Barca. So.
What did they? They won their league, right?
Yeah, they won the league
by how much?
Quite a big lot. I don't know how many players, and it was against Borussia Dortmund, who are a good team as well.
Oh shit! Yeah, they smoked everybody. They won their league by 13 points.
Yeah, but against Borussia Dortmund as well. They're a good team, Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And PSG, they're like the French league. They stopped their league about just after lockdown.
Hmm.
They didn't. They cancelled their season, I think.
The Bundesliga?
No, the French league.
Oh, French league.
The French league.
Okay. Oh, so they went back in the Champions League with no real
Not really. Yeah.
That's rough. That's rough because I don't, I don't think people put enough importance on that. Like people like, in the United States, they're like, oh, you have an extra week off. That's going to do you well. And be like, yeah, time off's great. But if you're not playing real competition, man, you're going to suck, especially when it comes to soccer football, man. Yeah.
You got to be playing. You got to be up for it. You got to be like up, like your physical, like you got to be physically good enough to like get into that like sharpness of being able to play like in that level of football.
Yeah, and then honestly, that's one of the reasons why I was so excited with Arsenal finishing the Europe because they came out, they did okay. There was a little bit of a trip there, and then they finished like a fucking maniac. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the teams they beat, sure, they beat Liverpool. They beat Man City, but Liverpool was kind of already taken off. But still, people don't want to lose. Do you know what I mean? So and for all intents and purposes, we should have lost that match. Like fucking, like I think they had like 75% possession, and they had like 16 shots on goal, and then we had like 25% possession and 2 shots on goal, and we make both of them. You know what I mean? Like there was no reason for us to win.
They bad at the
game. Oi. So have you had anything good beer wise lately?
Yeah, I have at Burning Sky. Don't know if you heard of them.
No, I've never heard of them before. Burning Sky. What are they? They're local to you, or
they're not local to me, but they do a lot of good Belgium-esque beers. It was like saison kind of sour.
Where are they from?
Essex. It's Essex in England.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I've got the bottle. Actually, I'll go get the bottle if you want.
Okay. So, if you guys out there have chugged on any of the Belgian beers that we talked about tonight, or more specifically the Trappist Rochefort 6, let me know what's what. Like I said, these it's one of the more kind of classic styles when it comes to Belgian doubles. I wasn't surprised that it ended up winning the kind of fan vote when it came to the pick and what people wanted to drink. And I'm just super bummed. I'm super bummed that I ended up not picking up that Westmalle to drink along with you, Adam, because it's one of my favorite styles too. I actually have a Belgian dark, but I haven't had one in a real long time. I'm going to go grab it after I finish this little Pilsner here. I ended up getting a mixed Schoof Belgian dark. I think it's more of a double from what I remember, but they classify it. Most people classify it as Belgian dark. I'll crack that one too. I think that one has actually some time on it too. I got it from the same place. I ended up picking some old ass barley wine up today from. But what do you got there?
Earlier, I had this. It's called.
Oh, okay. What is that, saison?
Yeah, it's called Burning Sky Les Amas du Brassage. It's like a. Do you want to read out the little blurb, the little thingy for you? This is the most recent beer they have collaborated on. It's a mixed year of oak aging. A beautiful mixed fermentation. A beautiful mixed fermentation saison blended with lambic.
Okay, that sounds pretty awesome. Is that what they do? That brewery is pretty much makes those kind of styles of beers.
Yeah, lambics and saison, that kind of thing. Really good. I've been drinking a 14.8%. Not be drunk.
Nothing wrong with that. Trying to find a date on this fucking bottle of beer I picked up. I don't know how this goddamn company dates their shit. That's pissing me off.
Who's this?
Le Schoof. They're a Belgian brewery. You know, Le Schoof?
Okay.
Yeah, the gnomes.
Yeah.
But when I went out today looking for the West Mall Double, I found some really old fucking beer, and I was super excited about it. And one of them was Sierra Nevada makes a Bigfoot barley wine. This is from 2016. I found a 4-pack of these 2016 barley wine. I found a 4-pack of this for $11 American, which is insane. You know what I mean? like most places would sell those bottles singles when they're aged like that for $11 a piece.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. But I also found a Machouf beer, which is their Belgian dark. But I don't know the date of it. I don't know how they do their dating. Like the Belgian breweries do, like kind of like sometimes they do proper dating, sometimes they do like weird like serial code dating, and I have no idea.
When the British do our dating, they do backwards, or Americans do backwards to our dating. Like, say we do.
No, see, there's some companies that actually do like Julian dating, they call it, which is like instead of the date. Like for example, there's a brewery in the United States. You probably get them out there called Lagunitas. They use what's called Julian dating, which is they only put the year and begin in front of the year is the day it was made. So let's say it was like June 13th, whichever day it is in sequence. So if it was the 230th day of 2019, so it'll be like 232. 19, which would be the 230th day of 19, not the month and the day or the day and the month. You know what I mean? So there's some companies that date like that. And I can't decipher this beer. Let me go grab it. I'll go grab it and see if anybody out there, I'll point at camera and maybe somebody can fucking figure it out. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I picked. This is the beer I picked up, and the reason why I bought it. Oh, there we go. It's super fucking old because I didn't notice something, and I'm even more excited about this because there you can see up here. I don't know if you could see. See, there's dating. See, there's numerals right there.
No, I can't see it.
Yeah, because well, there's numerals up here, and I'm like, what does that mean? It says MC110808C2, which I'm like, what does that mean? So I'm trying to figure out, okay, what date is that? And I just noticed on the side, you're going to be able to read this.
Best before end. Oh, fucking hell.
So this is probably 9 to 12 years old.
7 years old.
No, it's best before the end. So it's going to be even older than that because it's best before the end. So Belgian breweries typically do 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if it's 3 years and it's 10 years old, if it's 5 years and it's 12 years old.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So because they're not going to release it and be like best before today. You know what I mean? So yeah. Oh, good. I'm excited to pop this open now. They have a bunch of these on the shelf at that place. I love this place. They give me all the old beer. I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know this about me, but most people do. I am the king of old ass motherfucking beer. Like I love old beer. It's my favorite thing in the history of mankind. Like I drink like half of the bottles I have back here. Like I drank this like 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Like I drink like all the beers I love are like mad fucking old crazy beer. So
that's all right. That's all right to drink old, but not IPA.
Yeah, not IPA. Yeah, not IPA, but like Belgian darks, like it'll hold up. I hope it holds up. It better hold up. I mean, I only paid $11 for this, so I'm not gonna be out.
I can imagine it'd be good to like see how it like matures and like changes.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this place. They give me old ass barley wine. They give me old ass Belgian barks.
Do they lower the price? Do they lower the price if it goes over the if it's getting close to its
Expiration?
Yeah.
No.
They don't.
Well, it depends. It depends. There's a lot of breweries, so a lot of bottle shops and a lot of like places that sell beer. If IPAs and like beers that really matter as far as dating goes, when they get close to their expiration date, they'll put them. They'll lower the price, but most of them will put them in like mix-a-six places. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Or they'll put the individual cans in a set. It's like when I walk into like a big bottle shop or I walk into like a Tesco style place, they'll have a section that's specifically designed where you could take any of those beers and put them in a 6-pack and it costs one flat price. So they'll be like, here's a selection of 200 beers. It's $11 for a 6-pack. You can put any of these selected beers in that 6-pack, and a lot of it is like cheap, shitty stuff. But there's usually some decent stuff in there, or like IPAs that are about to go out of date. They'll put the one there so that way they get out faster. Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not bad. Pretty good.
Yeah. You can find actually and the best part is that some of these, especially the supermarkets, the Tesco style places that don't really know much about beer, every now and then they'll fuck up. And they'll put like a really crazy expensive beer in there by accident, and I buy it all. Like I once someone accidentally put in 6 small bottles of Chimay Blue, which is 4-pack Chimay Blue, like in the United States, like 20 is like $20 to $24. You know what I mean, for a 4-pack, and they put it in there. So I literally just got a 6-pack of Chimay Blue for like $11. I was like, she's like, it's all the same beer. I'm like, yes, it is. I'm like, that's all I wanted. She's like, why don't you buy it just by itself? I'm like, because I don't want to. How about that? It was in there. You know what I mean? So every now and then, like, and every now and then I'll put in like crazy other beers. Like I've pulled like barley wines and all kinds of crazy. Someone just doesn't know enough, and they're like, I'll just throw it in there. We'll see what happens. And anyway, game in the system, baby. Game in the system.
Gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do.
If I don't, somebody else will. You know what I mean? Okay. Let's crack open this sucker. Use the Rochefort glass that is used. I'm kind of excited about this. Here we go. That had a beautiful hiss on it too. That means it's gonna be good. Look at how fucked up that cap is. Look how old it is, all fucked up and shitty. Yeah. That's how you know it's good. That's how you know it's good. Oh yeah. Old beer is what beer's about, baby.
I've got one of those kind of Belgian glasses.
I have. If I showed you my glassware collection, it'd be crazy. I picked this one because it's actually a Rochefort glass.
Yeah,
so I was using proper glassware. But yeah, whoa.
It's all about the experience.
Oh, that's good. It's really good.
Smells
a little bit like an old book, but it tastes really good. A little musky, but
It's got that kind of like a red fruit, like a dark fruit kind of thing.
Yeah, it is. But when they get this old, they start to get like
they get a bit oxidized.
They do, but oxidation is not necessarily a bad thing. No. A little bit of oxidation can be a good thing. It's actually not that oxidized, believe it or not. It's softly oxidized. Let's put it this way: it's oxidized from the oxygen that was left in the bottle, not from the cap not being perfect. So a lot of times caps aren't perfectly sealed, so you have this ever so slight like transference of new oxygen. This is like whatever oxygen was left in the stem is what oxidized it, which isn't a ton of oxygen. So it has a little bit of soft oxidation, not in a negative way. It has this kind of really, it's almost like a watered down treacly thing. Like it ends up coming off a little bit kind of like kind of like a syrupy kind of like a rich syrupy kind of like just not molasses but watered down version of that. So it's a little bit more kind of desserty than I think it would have been when it originally came out, but it's nice. The carbonation is still there. Smells a little bit musty, and that's the oxidation, but it doesn't taste musty at all.
I think if the carbonation is still like quite vibrant, it helps in it, all that kind of thing.
Well, it's not so much that the carbonation helps. Obviously, the carbonation, if it's flat, that's going to affect the beer considerably. The reason why carbonation is such a big issue is means that the cap was sealed perfectly. Because if there's this tiniest little subtle little gap of that oxygen can escape from, over a couple of years, it's going to lose all its carbonation. That's going to filter out of the bottle. But since the cap was perfect, it never lost any carbonation. And then so it's a twofold thing. One, you still have the carbonation, which is important because that delivers a lot of the good flavor and kind of lets the beer be what it is, but also didn't let any of that negative oxygen in. Because if the gas is coming out, gas is also going in. You know what I mean? It's, it can go both ways. But to show you how beer works, look at the difference. Like how clear the glass is compared to where the beer was. Like you see how like this is like clear as clear can be, and then you have where the beer sat, that muck ring. So now it's like stained, like disgusting glass. You know what I mean? You know, that's how you know it's good. That's how you know it's good because the glass is all fucked up. It's like literally like eating away at the glass. It's fucking that delicious. That's funny. The best part is that this place where I bought this, they had those old ass barley wines, same place. I think they have like 4 more of these on the shelf. So I can just go back. And they've been there. They've probably been there from 2010. Like they're not like, it's not like they're a boutique place that buys old beer. They've probably been sitting on that motherfucking shelf for 10 years. So I can go back and just pick them up whenever I want.
Snuffed a lot of them. Take a lot of them.
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about New Jersey in the United States. Like some of the bigger, like I don't even know if they actually say it on here. Who imported this? But some of the bigger imported by Duvel Morgat USA. Okay, so some of the biggest importers of Belgian beers in the United States are in or around New Jersey where I live. So there's one up in Connecticut, there's one in New York, and there's one in New Jersey. So a lot of these really old European beers, whether it be England or whether it be Belgian and all those countries that they've been importing beer over the years, there's tons of them in this area. And with New Jersey being like a super kind of independent bottle shop, like in Pennsylvania, in order to sell beer, you're really restricted. New York's not as bad, but they were restricted. Jersey, it's always been like, if you just want to open a place that sells beer, you can just open it. It's not, there's there's restrictions, but it's not that bad. So like I could literally be driving down the middle of nowhere, and I'll pass by some old mom and pop bottle shop that looks like it's been around since fucking 1970. And I'll be like, I'm pulling in there. And I'll pull in and I'll go in and I'll find some rare super gem. I'll be like, holy shit. I'm like, literally stuff. So one of my favorite beers of all time is an English beer called Thomas Hardy Ale. It's like they started bringing it back a couple of years ago, but it's like by far and away one of my favorites. And like I hunt that shit like a sport. That's how much I love that beer, especially older bottles. And I really genuinely don't like it until it gets about at least 10 years old. And it was probably a 4. Go ahead.
Sorry, Peter the Master Hobbit. Do you follow him?
Yeah, he just did one. He did this bottle right here the other day. 2008 Thomas Hardy Ale. 2008. Yeah. That's my favorite. Like this shelf up here. This is Thomas Hardy Ale.
Some mad ale.
This is JW Lee's. And this is old stock, and they're all like the same kind of beer as far as spirit. But the Thomas Hardy Ale, like I love them, and like I remember what was it a couple of years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. I was driving through Jersey, and I'm like, okay, I wasn't living here at the time. I was just visiting a friend, and I'm like, I'm gonna stop and just grab something to eat. And I'm, go grab something to eat. I'm sitting there munching on my food, and I'm like, I see this like bottle shop across the parking lot while I'm eating my food. I'm like, yeah, I'll pop in there. They had a case of that Thomas Hardy Ale, and I was like, looking around, like, okay. I was like, there's no price. I'm like, how much do you want for this? And they're like, well, it typically cost, we would charge you $98. They're like, but
how much?
$98.
$98,
which is super cheap. Let me finish. It's super cheap regularly. They're like, but it's kind of old and it's out of date, so we'll give it to you for like $70 because they didn't know what they had. They have no, because half the people don't know what they have. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. You know what I mean? That's fine. I was like, I'll take it. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like Jesus Christ. Like this is like, you could charge you. She would have been like, if she would have been like, it's $300, I would have been like, yes, I will buy it right now. But she's like, no, it's 90, but I'll give it to you for 70 because it's old. I'm like, I'll fine. You
got to play it cool. You got to play it cool. Yeah.
One of my greatest Thomas Hardy gets ever was this one. This is a 1990. This is a 93 bottle of Hardy's, but at 94, 94 is up there somewhere. About 4 years ago, around the same time, before I even started my YouTube channel. No, because it had to be longer than that then. But it was right around the time I started my YouTube channel. But I know I didn't have my Instagram for my YouTube channel. Anyway, I posted a couple of pictures of Thomas Hardy Ale in my like personal Instagram, and I was like, I hashtagged it like Thomas Hardy Ale. I had some random guy just write me from Pittsburgh and be like, hey, I was paid by this company to clear out this warehouse, and I found a case of these. Do you want them? And he ended up charging like $200 for the case, but there were 1994 Thomas Hardy's, like a full fucking case of them. And the person's like, we'll pay you. The person to the guy who I bought them from, he's like, we'll pay you so much to clear out the place, plus anything that's in the place you could have. So the guy's like, oh, he's like, I just went on Instagram and typed in hashtag Thomas Hardy, and I saw that you liked them, so I figured if you want them, you can buy them. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, motherfucker. Yes. Please. So yeah, every now and then I kind of accidentally ask backwardsly fall into some delicious Thomas Hardy, but yeah.
You're like lucky motherfucker.
Yeah.
How much did you have to? Are they any good though? Have they been oxidized to
Thomas Hardy's?
Oxidized to fuck? Have you
Thomas Hardy's are Thomas Hardy. That was a couple of years ago. I drank all those. Those are all gone.
Oh, okay.
They're fine. Okay. Yeah, I drank that. Another little secret. People are like, you must have a crazy cellar full of Bill. I'm like, no, I drink that shit, motherfucker. So yeah, I drank those. But that Thomas Hardy Ale is by far and away the best aging beer in history of mankind. Like, it ages better than any beer you'll ever find, to the point where this is not a joke. I'm pretty sure, like, Thomas Hardy Ale gets good at 10 years old. Like, you should wait 10 years before you even open one.
Yeah.
Like, you should buy I buy cases, or I buy a 4-pack and I just put them, nope, I'm not going to touch it for 10 years. It needs 10 years to even get good. So, like, if you want to watch one of the better reviews in the history of mankind on YouTube, you know what? Terry Beer Goggles reviews. He hasn't done beer reviews in a couple of years, but if you he's from the UK. If you type in Beer Goggles, reviews,
yeah.
He did. Was it about 4 years ago? 3 or 4 years ago? He reviewed a 1968 Thomas Hardy.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, like, that, and it was still good. You know what I mean? Like, that beer, like, the one thing when people like talk about aging beer and talk about like time on beer and talk about cellaring beer, it's really, really, really simple when it comes to cellaring beer. simpler the beer, the better. Like a lot of people think about barrel age, like stouts, barrel aged this, barrel aged that. The more moving components you have involved in beer, the less ageable it is. So when a beer is just a core for beer, like hops, water, malt, yeast, and bottle condition, that's the probably more important, one of the most important parts. Bottle condition, core for beers age awesome. Once you start adding things, adjuncts, chocolate, caramel, coffee, whatever, and then adding a barrel to it, the more moving parts, the more that can go wrong. Unless you pasteurize it, like they started doing with bourbon counties. They started pasteurizing them. So obviously they're not going to go sideways, but they're just not going to develop as well in the bottle either. They're just not going to. They have a ceiling and floor. They're just not going to get that much better.
No, I've never had a bourbon county.
Really, it's not surprising, but it's surprising in a sense because it's like so readily available for me. And a lot of people really covet them. Like a lot of people are like, oh my God, I really want to try that. I'd be like, I can get it. Like I could drive 8 minutes away from where I live and just grab one right now if I wanted to. And I live in the middle of nowhere. I live in a farm in the woods. You know what I mean? It's not like I live in a metropolis. You know what I mean? In a city. You know, it's so readily available that when I see a lot of European guys, you know, like one of the big Remy from Beer Geek Holland, he's like he loves Bourbon County, and we get to, he's like, oh my God, I got Bourbon County. I was like, I'll send you cases of it, dude. It's like no big deal. But I guess we do the same shit over here. Like Cantillon, oh my God, Cantillon. You're like, you fucking get it anywhere. You know what I mean?
That's the big, isn't it? That's a big trading thing for American breweries or American traders.
Well, there's yes and no. Like base Cantillon is, or one-off Cantillon is, but there's some like really kind of high-end Cantillons. Like there's like very specific traders over here where like I want a 1986 Cantillon, this, and this, and I'll pay a ton of money for it. But if you're talking about their baseline, I can find their base core line pretty easy. Speaking of base, what's going on, homie?
I thought someone should get the beer.
Oh, there you go.
So I don't know if you've figured out how to date these. The date that's on the label, is that the packaged on date or is that best before?
See. Well, I have this dating on mine.
Oh, different label.
Well, because it comes to the United States, so they have to put the United States warning shit on.
Yeah, they usually just put all the same shit on the same thing, don't they?
What's your date say? Let's put it that way.
It says 09/03/16.
Okay, that would make your bottle a 2011.
Whoa! I didn't realize it was that old. Yeah. Is it L? Yeah. It's like L.10 or L.number whatever. Yeah, that would make yours a. That would make yours a 2011 bottle. I knew it was old. I bought it to review, and then I remember
it's probably perfect.
I didn't really like Rochefort, but I do have the glass as well.
Okay, how do I kick people off this? I don't. You don't like Rochefort?
I mean, you build up these things in your head, and how true they are. It's not fully accurate, but I do love a double. I didn't realise they were double. I always thought their stuff was I always thought with Rochefort they never felt like they stuck to those specifications.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how yours comes off because my double was lighter than what I expect the double to be, but it was still absolutely fucking fantastic. I obviously expect yours to be a little bit darker. No, it's not that dark. I thought it was going to be darker than that because of the age. I guess it's
relatively good.
It's definitely darker than what mine was.
Oh, it's not as dark as it appears on camera. It's kind of pale chestnut, pale chestnutty kind of brown.
Look at that, we're twinsies when it comes to the glassware.
Yeah, very good.
You get the legit gold foil. I just have
mine's
yellow.
Gold. Yeah. That's gold.
But mine's cracked. I don't know if you can see.
Oh, that's always good. Drinking from a cracked glass. You never know when it'll collapse into your mouth. Yeah, I didn't realise 11 years ago. Blimey. Still smells nice. Fruity.
The head looks beautiful. Yeah, it was very fruity when I had it.
Berries and kind of store own brand cola. Get a bit of that as well.
Yeah, it came off to me like a
classic cup sniff.
There you go. It's like, you know, when you talk about breadiness and like Belgian beers, it wasn't like a fruit bread, but it wasn't like a plain brown bread. It was like a brown bread, but you put a little sugar in it. Like it had like a little bit of sweetness to the breadiness, like a little bit more than usual. But yours, is being older, is going to be much, much different.
Yeah, you'd expect. I mean, it's only a cap, ground cap. So I mean, surely it should be oxidized to a certain degree.
Well, depending on the seal, but your head looks fantastic. Like even now, it's still there. It's not like it looked like it had a nice seal on it.
Yeah, it's still got a bit of bruised red apple. I mean, when you said you didn't, I think it has got a fruity loaf, a bit of a saurine malt loaf, that kind of thing. But anyway, cheers. That's nice. I'd be curious what it is like fresh, because that's spot on. Maybe it's softened and rounded out a bit more. I did a review of the Chimay Red the other week, and as lovely as that was, and that is maybe more of a brown ale. I mean, even on the bottle it says it calls it a brown ale.
Yeah.
That has got more of it's a bit more straightforward, kind of malty, kind of. But this has got a bit more something going for it. Maybe there is something which is slightly oxidized, but I don't think it's taken away from it.
Oh no, a little bit of oxidation can be a positive in these beers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's let's put it this way, I got into beer through Belgian Double. That's what got me into beer when I first got into beer. So, but it's a style I can't tell you the last time I drank a Belgian Double. Honestly, it's probably been 6 years maybe, unless I drank one randomly wherever, I can't remember. Whenever I drink beers like these, I drink them and go, what the fuck did I stop drinking these kind of beers?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did the review of the Chimay because I needed I was making a beef carbonade, which you might have put a Belgian beer of. I always think you should put a quad in, but the recipe I follow often asks for a more of a Flemish red, which I don't agree with at all. It's big, rich beef stew.
Yeah.
Very, very intensely rich. And I bought the red and the quad so I had the option. And they were cheap. So I put the quad in my carbonade, but I reviewed them both beforehand as well. Started cooking at 12. Actually, no, it was definitely still the morning. So I drank a little bit of the quad so I could get my money's worth.
There you go. There's
Well, that's delightful.
Yeah, no, it surprised me. And the when I announced doing this, I was like, okay, everybody vote on a couple different beers, and Adam was one of the people who actually said, let's do Westmalle Double, and I was like, okay, I'll put it up for a vote, and people voted for this. So, but I told him, I was like, I will find a Westmalle Double. So yesterday I drove around all over God's green earth, could not find a Westmalle Double, and my wife this morning was like, she's like, I want a fruit tart. I was like, okay, I'll go get your fruit tart. So I was driving to this bakery, and I was like, wait a minute, there's a bunch of bottle shops on the way to this bakery. I'm like, let me go, and I went to 5 more bottle shops to find a Westmalle Double. I could not find it, but what I did find was a couple aged beers. This one, this McShoof Belgian Dark, which is 10 years old. Wow. 10 years old, and an old Bigfoot barley wine by Sierra Nevada, which is 2016. But I found a Magnum champagne bottle size version of Chimay Blue from 2011.
Nice.
I didn't buy it because there was no price on it. And I was like, I don't want to spend any more money today. But if it's been there, it's not going anywhere. It was in like a podunk, like a bottle shop that it doesn't sell good beer. So I'm not afraid of somebody buying it.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to go back and buy that and see how that one kind of tracks.
Yeah, I must have had it. I do remember a bottle share what we did videos from with another couple of lads who don't really do well. Stuart still does his channel, but Adam doesn't do his channel anymore. And he moved to New Zealand. But anyway, he brought a bottle of the bourbon barrel aged St Bernardus at 12, and that was incredible.
The apple brandy barrel one?
Yeah.
Was it probably from 15, 16 or something?
Yeah.
It was old. Yeah. I love that beer.
That was excellent. It was amazing. And the barrel, it's not the most common barrel that you're going to get, so it's always nice. I guess it's like when you're reviewing IPAs, you can't bore yourself with what you say. Eventually, it's like, oh, saying the same old shit again. And then, but when with something like that, where it forces you to think a bit more, because it's kind of outside of your normal kind of repertoire, I guess. And it was excellent.
I love the word repertoire. It's like one of my favorite words in history of mankind.
Try and squeeze it in more often.
Yeah. So what are you up to lately? What's you still just banging out beer reviews? How's life?
How many have I done this week? I haven't done any this week. I don't think I've done any this week at all. Maybe I did a couple of. Maybe before we came on Friday, I might have done a couple. Can't remember.
Have anything that kind of blew you away, or?
You talked to me late on Friday night into the early hours of Saturday morning. And then I was out. No, I didn't go out yet. No, I went out briefly to my local shop stroke bar where I kind of help out at times. I had a couple in there because it was raining. So Verdant have done a black lager, which is really nice. It's nice once again. It's nice to just have.
I saw you post a review. I didn't watch it yet, but I'm looking forward to it because I'm kind of curious.
Well, once again, it's modern breweries doing kind of something a bit more, adding to their repertoire. Don't overuse it. And so that was lovely. And then I had there's a Pichala from Estonia, had their coffee porter called, which I've had before, which is nice. Last night, I shared a bunch of beers. Stand out being, do you know Ad Riot? Look at Rory pulling out the big guns. Really big bollocks over there with his bourbon barrel aged Smith. Yeah.
Is that Bourbon Barrel Speedway?
Yeah.
Dirty bastard, yeah.
Are we going to watch you pass out on YouTube?
Am I? Right.
He's not opened his, he did get the Blue Mountain variant as well. You shouldn't open that tonight, Alex, for a variety of reasons. It'll be a waste of money and you will be...
No. Don't listen to him. I'm going to mute him. You should have not only should you have opened that, you should drink it as fast as humanly possible. Like, I think you should chug it or boof it, either one.
I'm not doing Harry.
But no, that's I don't know how much is in the US, but that's at least £50 over here. Is Blue Mountain Speedway?
It's £38.
Yeah. I've seen it shop in Birmingham. Maybe it was a bit more expensive, but you got it from Nicola, didn't you?
Yeah.
It was tempting, but I just can't justify spending that amount of money on it.
What was the price from Mickler?
About 500 and whatever Danish kroner. It's about 50 quid.
38 quid.
38. Oh, that's not.
36.
No, that's still
36. It's getting better.
Something like that.
Yeah. I had it in thing. I did. Ryan brought one to in a cool bag to the back lot of Pete Sport Carlsbad.
Nice.
And we had a bit of a.
That'd be amazing.
Well, we were there. We were staying in Carlsbad for a couple of nights, mainly to go to Pete's Port because it was always like one best brew pub in the year in the world, like 4 years running, something ridiculous. So we had. It was nice to have a bit of change of scenery, see a different style of like part of California because San Diego downtown's pretty. Looks like a big city.
That'd be lovely.
Lots of crazy, lots of like slightly scary homeless people. A lot of homeless people in San Diego, but homeless people in the UK are kind of like beaten down by life. Homeless people in America are kind of like really vocal. It's like, you're not used to it. People are far too exuberant. What's wrong with you? Sit in a doorway and shiver.
Give us $1.
Anyway, yes. So that was really good. Yeah, you brought a bunch of stuff, crazy fucking stuff. He kept pulling out of this a cool bag they brought, and then I'd go and buy some. I took a bottle of my BrewDog beer because I'm a show pony, and that was 2014 when we went, and then he knows the guys who run the bottle shop at the brew pub, so they were like took us into the cold store and like pick whatever you want to open, and it was like, oh right, cool. And I'm like, what about that kind of magnum of Russian River sour? And he's like, that's the one thing that you cannot open. Like, god damn it.
I'll tell you what, man. Last year I went to Hill Farmstead. They do their kind of yearly festival of farmhouse ales is what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically like it's a beer festival. It's probably the best beer festival I've ever gone to, but basically what they do is the typical MO they do is it's either all their beers or more often than not, it is they cherry pick a couple breweries and then they have a festival with them. So the last year when I went, it was Hill Farmstead. It was what is it? I always pronounce the name wrong. It was Brewery Blages from Belgium.
Much, yeah. Because they do a collab, a permanent kind of like
they're Vermontese. So yeah. And they had Russian River, they had Lost Abbey. Those are like those were the main ones there.
Cool.
And
I've been to Lost Abbey. Coming out.
Yeah.
Poured me beer. He was really grumpy.
and it's pretty simple. That each brewery gets 2 kegerators, and they pour 2 beers. Hill Farmstead has 4, so they have 1 in each end. So there's basically a tent with 2 breweries, and then Hill Farmstead on the side, and then and they have like a time-based system to where it's like, okay, at 2:00 we're pouring these. You get like a program when you walk in. It's like, okay, 1:00 these beers are going on tap. 2:00 these beers are so yada yada yada, and everybody obviously is lining up for Hill Farmstead. Everybody's lining up for Dre Fontaine was there too, so everybody's lining up for Dre Fontaine and all those breweries, and like nobody was lining up for fucking like Lost Abbey or fucking the other brewery that I just mentioned, and Russian River. And the best beer I had that day out of everything was from fucking Lost Abbey. Like, and that's the thing. Like, everybody's lining up, like literally people, because you have a schedule.
Yeah.
So these people are lining up. Like, they're like, oh, this beer's going to go on draft in an hour and a half. I'm going to get in that line now. You know what I mean? And we're sitting there looking, me and my buddy are like, we're just ripping out beers from everybody else. We're like, whichever line's the shortest, that's what we're drinking. That was our rule for the day. You know what I mean? And
I did it at Cloudwater Festival.
Yeah. We're literally like going up.
A massive queues for the Vale, Monkish. Is it Free Chiefs?
Mm-hmm.
Free Chiefs do loads of stouts.
Yeah, stouts.
Trillium. And no, I think that was because they're like guaranteed pours of these kind of another half. So those there were always a big queue for all of those guys. But then it were like, who's got nobody queuing? And the best beer that I had, which I now went back and had at least twice, was from Highland Park, and no queue. ever. If there was, it was because I just told somebody who stood next to me that this was like the best beer I've had today. Like,
you see that thing?
There'd be 2 or 3 people in the queue, and that'd be
see
it.
that thing McKellar as well with Hopsine as well. He's gone to like in McKellar. Yeah, I'm saying McKellar when Master of Hoppets has gone to the McKellar festival. He's gone to
Copenhagen. Yeah.
Copenhagen beer celebration. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone to places that's like no queue whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, I've there is footage of me and Peter at MBCC, and it is an incredible festival. I mean, it takes some beating. I mean, I don't know if there is. I know there's a bunch in America, like which are a bit hypey, is it Green? Was it Greentown? Or whatever thing you do, the Halves Festival, like.
Your Pastry Town, and they do a bunch of towns. Like yeah. But that's not like super high. Like the big ones in the States. I shouldn't say the big ones because there's big ones, but like the ones I want to go to, like was obviously Hill Farmstead's Festival, Farmhouse Sales. You know what the best part about that festival is? It's they limit it to only like 200 people.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's like if you ever been to Hell Farmstead, like it's like a big expansive
in pictures
field, but outside, like the festival's outside. So it's like you're having a festival with all these breweries in this big huge area, but there's only 200 people. So even if there's a long queue for a line, you still like you could literally
never be that big because there's not enough people. If everybody got in it,
you know what I mean? So that's a beautiful part of that. But the go ahead.
Is it all pastry stouts kind of thing?
Well, Pastry Town for other half is, but they do like a hop forward one.
Green City, is it something like that? They completely fucking nicked my idea anyway. So I'm not saying I'm not saying they owe me something for stealing my concept.
Well, you're
style-specific beer festival.
You're across the river, the pond. They can't do anything to you. It's kind of like Verdun. They stole my word and put it on their can, and then now I can't sue them because I'm not from their country. Anyway,
So what else? Hill Farmstead's Festival,
Shelton Brothers Festival, which I went to in October. Which is I did a podcast with Shelton Brothers and a bunch of Euro breweries and stuff like that. That was awesome. Like that was like kind of like the Hill Farmstead Festival, but with that crazy crowd. But they had everybody there. Like everybody was there. Like, I mean, everybody like, and Shelton Brothers don't like Trillium was there and there's some hazy breweries there, but Shelton Brothers just really cares about fucking Saison and Lambic. So it was just Saison and Lambic, you know what I mean? And it was crazy amount of breweries there, but it was done really well. And it was really comfortable. And while there was lines to be had, nothing was crazy extensive. The big festival I've never gone to was Firestone Walker Invitational. Yeah. That's the one I really want to go to. And I'll get there one day. But I'm not a big festival guy. It's weird because I went to three last year. If you get me to one, that's like crazy. But I went to 3 last year. And I had a really good time, so maybe I should rethink it. But
I guess it depends on the type, doesn't it, really? I mean, the ones what are emerging in the UK are often quite small. Small as in kind of capacity, but the film, I mean, it's quite an uncomfortable experience. That it's tight as fuck in the rooms. The rooms and stairwells aren't great for dealing with the amount of people that are in there.
Is that the shop or club or friends and families? Friends and family.
I said friends and families that's Cloudwater's Festival. That's in a pretty big venue, but at the same time, it can get really busy. Just because I'd say there's a lot of people in there. But I mean, that's a funny one. Yeah, you could have. The biggest queue was always appeared to be Trillium and Three Chiefs. I think Three Chiefs had got a bit of buzz around them at that point because I think they'd just done a collab with Cloudwater. Okay. So I think there were a bit of knowledge about them, and it were all kind of like big stouts, which were a hell of a lot of them around. but there was so much else to go for that you didn't feel the need to do it. I mean, I got my first beer was from the Vale, which was Chubbles, and I really didn't care for it. I got a really nice sticker though, which is kind of there. It says the Vale, but it's like the Seinfeld logo, which I was made up with. But the beer was poor, and
the beer was
kind of like soured me on the Vale,
so that's nice.
Yeah, I'm not that fussed by the Vale, to be honest. I know you've had a nice one today.
It's good to be quite.
Me neither.
And I had Monkish, but I got like a thimble full from those guys. They really kind of like made me keep a fuck on.
I'm not a big Monkish guy. Like the
what
beers
I thought were really good, but
I've never had a Monkish beer that I was like, holy shit. And I've had a dozen or so.
I had a bunch of the stuff before they became an IPA brewery. There were an UK online shop who were bringing in stuff from a California-based distributor. One of the breweries they were bringing over was Monkish. So I had like the blonde and the double and like a strong golden ale or something as well. So way before, they were doing them in 750s for about 14 quid or something tops. Most expensive one. But now you've got to get there at like 6 a.m. to queue up to get your 4-pack of IPA. It's what I've had I thought was really good, but
it's good to be objective though, I think.
I've got a left-handed giant Galaxy Pale Ale in the fridge. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy that. I don't feel the need to. I've got a fucking 9-year-old bottle of Rochefort. I don't feel the need to go to all those lengths to get enjoyable beers. So,
do you think English beer is as good as American beer now?
I think some can be.
Yeah.
I'll find out. I've got Track in Manchester. Did a quite exclusive release on Thursday, or was it Friday? Thursday. Of some Green Cheek and some Highland Park, and you could either buy it as a 4-pack or you could buy an 8-pack, and you got 4 Track as well. So I got that one. I mean, I asked a friend, because I was busy. So I've got 2 triple IPAs and 2 double IPAs coming from Green Cheek and Highland Park. So I'll be quite curious. I've heard good things about Green Cheek, but at festivals they've always got like a lager and a saison on. Matt, have you heard out from Green Cheek?
I've never even heard of them.
Really? California based.
Green Cheek?
Green Cheek.
Yeah.
Always got a parrot, isn't he? Always got a parrot.
Hold on.
Have you heard of Highland Park?
I have heard of Highland Park Scotch.
No, brewery. Tell you, it was a barrel-aged kind of chocolate stout or something. What I had. What was the beer of the festival at Los Angeles?
I've got the triple IPA, the 3-way Highland Park.
I have heard of Green Cheek only because I listened to a podcast where one of the brewers was involved. It rang a bell, and I just searched on iTunes, and one of my podcast cues, so I definitely listened to it, but that's my extent. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the name rings a bell. That's basically the long and short.
Right. Oh well, it's a long way away, isn't it? I don't expect you to know every brewery in America, but I mean, I just thought, well, they've got a bit of. Well, obviously they did that with the original collaboration while those guys were over for the Cloudwater Festival. But the Track podcast is good. If you've never listened to it, Rory, it's really good.
Which one?
Okay, cool.
Track, brew from Manchester. It's called The Thirst Time. But there's who's been
The Thirst Time.
I know it's terrible. Laddie does it is quite good.
Why did they have to be so punny?
I know. Lad who does it is good. I met him; he's a nice lad as well. And but they've had, so it's a mixture of US and British guests they've had on. So I mean, as far as the US goes, they had Sam from Other Half on. They had Anthony from Finback. They had a guy from Green Cheek. But then they've had like Dan from St. Miles of the Desert in Sheffield, where I'm going next Saturday. And who else have they had on? Theo from Daya has been on it. Adam from Verdant. So it's good. It's good. It's got there's a nice kind of feeling to it. He's likable, is the lad who does it, and I think he gets interesting interviews out of him. The Verdant one put me back onto them because I thought the things that Adam said really made me think, oh, okay, maybe Verdant have kind of
change their ethos a bit.
Maybe just reinforce something. I had the pigs one. I don't know what it's called. What they did recently, supposedly West Coast type thing. I had that last night. That was good, but when I saw pigs and it was saying West Coast, I'm thinking, is this their go at Blind Pig? And if it was, I'd have been a very happy man. Because any chance of drinking something which is like Blind Pig, fuck, all over that. But the big one, what we had last night, was do you know Ad Riot Brewery, America, wherever they're from?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of theirs last night called Where Evil Lurks. I thought it was excellent. I actually had one on my birthday, a bottle of it, and I thought it was excellent. We'd had a bunch of crazy pastry stouts as well that night, and that one just, even though it had loads of crazy ingredients in chilies.
You're talking about that Ad Right theory?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. On paper, it looked ridiculous because it's like chili, coffee, chocolate, vanilla, everything. But the heart of it is a really well made imperial stout, and it felt like all the flavors just kind of fell into place really nicely. But it wasn't kind of ridiculousness like you get from like Amundsen and people like that. So, but I bought that. That was my payday beer last month, and my payday beer this month is probably going to be. So we've got bottles of. It's a brewery beer called. Is it Mash? Coconut version of what's it fucking called?
Of the brewery, Mash, like the coconut mash, like 750. Yeah. That's lights out juice right there, man. That's
well, it's going to be the two of us drinking it, so hopefully it won't be, and it's not too bad a price considering.
This is a beautiful.
How much?
I'm just looking. I'll get a staff discount as well. Passion coconut, that's it. It's $19.99, so I'll get 15% off that.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would probably pay. Actually, I might pay that price or more in the United States for that beer.
It's 13%. Yeah. I like a brown ale, so it's an imperial brown ale, and I like.
I'll let you in on a secret.
Is that by
the brewery? The brewery.
Is it
BRUEUY?
Is it brown ale?
It's an imperial brown ale, but aged in bourbon barrels with toasted coconut.
It's an old ale, basically. I'll let you in a secret on that. It actually contains alcohol.
All 13%.
Every single one of their bottles contains alcohol on it, and it makes me.
Oh yeah, I'm just looking at
every single one, and I'm like, okay, great. It contains alcohol. Like, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, I know you're a brewery. Fucking hell.
Well, they're just really making sure they're called the brewery. So you're kind of giving something away there.
But it's RUE, not
but EW. Still, because that would be the most cynical name ever if it wasn't BREW, wouldn't it? Our name is the brewery.
It's called Patrick Brew.
Yes,
RUE. So that's why it's spelled that way.
He wasn't the one who came over to Cloud. Or maybe I have met him.
He was like the sixth. I think he was the sixth Master Cicerone.
Oh right.
Like if you look at it, I think they're up to like 20 now, or maybe 20 and change. But he was like number 5 or 6 or something like that.
I've met Ray Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Sheffield. There's a pretty good pub on the platform platform 1 in Sheffield train station, and I popped in there. I've been I'd been judging that day, or maybe I didn't. Oh no, I had. I've been judging business awards for SEBA, and he'd been doing a seminar. It's like a trade thing going on at the same time. So he'd been doing a seminar, and he's with. I've got a friend who works for Lallemans who make yeast, and he was looking after Ray Daniels. I'm like, so Ray Daniels, yeah. Okay, so come join us. All right, cool. So I talked to Ray Daniels about Simpsons. He was quite drunk, and he wasn't giving me any kind of like tasting notes or specifics about the history of the styles or anything like that. It was very disappointing. So that's another name drop for me.
There you go. I have met. Let's see how many unknown ever.
You must have met Garrett Oliver. Come on.
Yes. No, I mean, like, you meet people,
it's times.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not loads of times. But it's like,
with him. Can I say?
Yeah. Well, he's actually sitting right over there. You want to talk to him?
He's ace. It was the I guess it'd be the UK equivalent of Shelton Brothers, a company called James Clay, who were based around here. They did a dinner with Garrett for like invited guests. There were about 16 of us around this table, and he kind of regaled us with kind of stories and stuff. He's a very charismatic chap.
That was actually one of my biggest regrets. Was Omegang, which is a brewery in the United States, and they're
I know Omegang.
Yeah, well, no,
upstate New York.
They're owned by Dubbels, and they do they do this Belgian beer festival every year.
That brewery looks like
yeah, and it's a 3-day festival of basically beer and music. And the first day of the festival is actually like they do like a beer dinner, and it's like a 200-seat tent, and they do this kind of beer pairing kind of thing where they have like a ton of different beers and a ton of different food. And it's like if you buy a ticket to the festival normally, like just to get in the festival, it's like whatever, $50-$60. But if you want to do the Friday food tasting, it's like a $200 ticket or some bullshit like that. And then one year they were like, hey, they're like, just come on up, whatever. And I forget it was something super important, like a niece's fucking christening or something. There was something in super important. I just couldn't go. And then I had friends go, and it was Garrett Oliver and a bunch of other people like hanging out, just like shooting shit and just getting drunk for 5 hours. You know what I mean? Like in this after food coma, starlight glistening, fucking awesome. I'm like, oh man, like I don't regret not going because family comes first, but I was also like, fucker. That one, you know what I mean, kind of thing. So I was like, yeah. But no, that's cool. Like some of the better interactions with brewers that I've had in my life, just as an anecdote, is always Chance. Like I've had great times. Like one of my favorite fucking times ever was when I did the podcast with Kimmick from Alchemist. You know what I mean? But outside of that, like a lot of them are just random, same place, same time. Hey, let's hang out and chug beers. Not on record, not on record, and just fucking chilling out and chugging beers. That's what makes it fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. You could wish you could capture all of that on tape, but you'd probably have to delete half of it. That's what makes it so fun.
Yeah. I was blown away that you kind of like walked past a festival in Manchester called we call it Indie Man Beer Con. It's Independent Manchester Beer Convention, I think it's called. But because for a short period of time we had Firestone Walker officially distributed in the UK. Obviously, it's David Walker. He's British, and I was just there having a couple of beers with my mates, and just David Walker walks past. He stands out. I mean, he's very tall, and he's got the hair of a man with a lot of money. And I was like, fucking hell, it's David Walker. It's like, what? My mate Stuart, who's got a bit of a mouth on him, when he's drunk.
Sleep back
Can't stop him, and he's like, "I'm like, fucking hell, it's David Walker." He's like, "Oh, Firestone Walker." I'm like, "Yeah." Like, well, I'll go and grab him. And he went and grabbed him, and went, yeah. Like Parabola is like my favorite beer of all time. Hang on, I'm talking. Fucking interrupting me. And so he came over, and we had a lovely chat, and he was a lovely, lovely man. But he was kind of like, fucking hell, David Walker. But yeah, Matt Brynelson a couple of times. He's kind of like fucking godlike genius. I don't like the kind of the weird admiration of brewers. I find it uncomfortable. But I think Matt Brynelson, he's just he knows what he's doing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's like the whole. How do I put it? So I posted a review last night of a beer, from Hot Butcher for the World. It was their Wackamania, and I dropped some like wrestling bullshit in there because obviously, because it was like Hulkamania but Wackamania, and I'm not a big wrestling guy, but I was talking about who's the best wrestler of all time. And then I was like, oh, obviously Andre the Giant. And then several people actually trying to be like, well, obviously Hulk Hogan, this guy, and this guy is the top, and whatever. I'm like, there's people that you think are like the best, and there's the people who you think are the best would vote as the best. And that's kind of the Brynelson thing, which is like a lot of people like kind of like brewer kind of jockey brewer kind of like fucking this guy's the best. But if you literally asked JC from Trillium who's your favorite brewer, it would be a Brynelson or it'd be something like that. So it's like those are like the comedian's comedian, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing where it's like yeah, you love that guy, but like if you actually had a conversation with that guy and you actually talked about comedy, he would be like, no, this person's the best. And not saying they are the best, but it's one of those things where it's like, there's something, I don't know. There's something more to it. There's something beyond new school hazy fucking shininess to it. Yeah. You know what I
mean? There's substance to it.
Yeah. I guess that's a word for it. Thanks for thinking of it.
No, it's just because he's done so much. It's proven that. I mean, it's like whether whether it's a lager or a fucking bourbon barrel aged imperial stout or kind of like a blonde ale in a can or something like the kind of 805 or whatever. It's all done to a very, very high level. It's not overtly fussy. It's not gimmicky. They're not chasing trends. They're kind of setting standards for me, I think. So there you go. The first ever Parabola bottle, which my mate gave me, who's from Sheffield, another mention of Sheffield, but he lives in Oakland. There you go. It's good shit. I've got a bottle in the fridge.
Little PNC up there. I got a couple.
Yeah, Black Santis is a great beer. I went to Trader Joe's in New York to get that.
What's your favorite barrel-aged Firestone Walker beer? Mine is fucking easy.
Go on.
Fucking Tsukaba, by far. An aged Tsukaba is the best ever.
Some of the anniversary beers have been incredible.
Oh, the anniversary ones are fucking amazing. I'm not going to sit here and say they're not, but like as far as that's like, I'm not saying it's cheating, but like the anniversary beers are like they like literally bring in a panel of like some wine sommeliers and beer tasters and all that stuff. You know the process behind it.
What, I mean, there's been a sommelier?
Well, no, I mean, do you know the process they put behind the fucking anniversary beer? Like they like literally have a panel of like 50 of the best tasters in the world. No, they have the 50 of the best tasters in the world who all like they set them up in the groups, and then all those people drink all the barrel aged beer from Firestone Walker, and they make their own blend, and then they take the best blends from all those groups, and then they rejudge the blends, going, I think this is the best blend. This is the best. And they whittle down these several different blends and they'll be like, okay, this is the anniversary beer. Yeah, so that's almost like cheating. That's like putting MSG in fucking food. It's so good. But as far as their base barrel age program goes, If you give me like a 4 or 5 year old Sakaba, yeah, the table's raising about 4 or 5 inches every time.
We said we were getting them, officially getting them distributed over here for a while, and once again, it happens by a company maybe about 8 miles away. So we did all right. We were getting the cans. We were getting Easy Jack, which I think we've actually got at the moment. This terrible kind of like low calorie kind of like session IPA, something not good. And we've had Velvet Merlin and Coconut Merlin recently, which I think they're spot on and they're really well priced.
Wait, the low calorie
calorie
one wasn't bad, wasn't it? Was
that
Easy Jack? Yeah, I think I reviewed that. I don't know if I reviewed it or actually just drank it. Was it Easy Jack? No. The fuck? I mean, Rob's gonna come back and actually show it to us, so we'll see what it is. But it was like something like yeah. What is it called? What is it called again?
Which one?
What was that low-cal one from Firestone Walker? Do you remember the name of it?
I'll tell you. It's on the website.
I think I had that beer, and I think I didn't hate it for some reason. But yeah. Anyway, I mean they're like literally like the whole like Italian Pilsner craze now. That's basically our Pivo pills.
Flyjack.
I didn't hate that beer. You didn't like it?
No. Okay. I can still get Velvet Merkin and Sour Opal as well, but they've probably been hanging around. That's 2018 Velvet Merkin. No, Sour Opal is.
Their Pivo pills is like one of the best chuggers in the history of time.
Had that in. Once again, that was coming in very kind of readily. I actually had it at. So I live pretty much next to a brewery, but the other brewery is about a 20-minute walk away. And they actually had somebody representing Firestone Walker pouring a couple of beers, and they had Pivo pills on there, and I had that. It is excellent. As I was saying, Matt Brunson. Can do a killer Pilsner, but I can also do a ridiculous blended bourbon barrel aged blended fucking masterpiece.
Rob.
Yes.
I'm not being rude, but I talk. I'm drunk. Yeah.
Yeah, you are. Well done.
Good job.
Just opened a.
Yeah. Cheers.
That's the Giant Brew Pub, Single Hop Galaxy. That's what I'm saying. Like a nice.
When you're talking, I was just thinking. When you're talking, when I'm talking over you, I'm not doing it on purpose.
No, that's fine. I was just stopping you so I could finish what I was saying.
Yeah. No.
Then you can ask me at the end when I stop talking. But yeah, no, I thought this was Galaxy. Can't go wrong with Galaxy, and also just 4.9. Can't go wrong. What's that? Is that a Hot Butcher?
It's Revolution Brewing collab with Hot Butcher.
Ah.
And it's a West Coast IPA that is clear AF, and it is fucking delicious.
Is it bitter?
Huh?
Is it bitter? That's the thing, isn't it?
Here's the weird part. It is bitter, but it's not overly bitter. It's like crazy, like pine tippy. It's not like super like dank. It's like almost like it's not spearmint gum, but it's that kind of ideal of that kind of upper level, not overly sweet, but kind of effervescent kind of mintiness and spearmintiness that you would get from fucking clear beer. It's really good. It's really good. Like kind of like to the point where I'm kind of angry. I only got one can, and I want like a 6-pack of it so I can make bad decisions. Yeah, it's that good.
But that's it. I mean, we're getting. I don't know if you're seeing from the similar type of breweries a resurgence of kind of West Coast styles, where then breweries are known for more of the kind of softer East Coast style, but they're just not going for it enough. It's not. I mean, but is that a decision that they think that the people who are familiar with their repertoire are are too used to a softer, sweeter IPA, and if they go too far, they'll just completely turn them off. I don't know, or they're just not willing to make that kind of leap because.
No, it's well, what it is, it's exactly what you talked about, but I don't think half the time it's on purpose. I think it's more like, like when like in the United States we have like a shitty Italian food chain called Olive Garden, and like when you go there, it's like people like, this is fucking quintessential Italian food, and then but it's not. But when Olive Garden says it's quintessential Italian food, they would pass the lie detector test. Because they just don't understand, what I mean? That what real Italian food really is. So I think a lot of breweries, when they actually make like a West Coast IPA, they go like, we made a West Coast IPA, and it's like just has like little ticks and bobs towards West Coast. And they're like, yeah, we made a crazy West Coast IPA. And then when someone actually has loves West Coast, they're like, it kind of has that, but it's not really. But the person that made it thought they went balls in a wall. Like it's like almost like they're lying to themselves, but not in like a Machiavellian kind of like sinister kind of way. Like they genuinely believe that they made this crazy West Coast IPA when they actually just made like a hazy with some Cascade hops.
Yeah, that's it. I've got a friend who does a very popular beer podcast over here, and those two are really kind of staunch West Coast fans. Not that bothered about kind of like the kind of softer stuff, and kind of really rail against it. But I always think, well, what do you think is West Coast IPA? Because there's a couple of things. What for a long time, if we got Stone, which was still within drink by date, if it had 6 weeks on it, you'd be over the moon.
Yeah,
and but. So it was at least 3-4 months old, and I mean, but that's all our reference was. Even Sierra Nevada, well, at one point we were getting it pretty good, but nowadays it's so what a lot of people in the UK were seeing as American IPA at that point, and I think now still remains their touchstone for West Coast IPA. It's old. It is overtly sweet a lot of the time, but they're not like that. I mean, but then also now, what is West Coast IPA now? Because I remember when I went, Ryan was talking about a lot to do with I forgot what the term was, but it was more a lot of whirlpool hopping essentially. So it was going towards a lot more on the kind of on the cold side, post boil.
Well, that's your classic West Coast IPA is hop additions based on the Dogfish Head schedule, the 60 to 90, 120. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just what hops you're using, what malts you're using. You know what I mean? There's really not that big of a difference between East and West Coast IPA. I don't think, in the grand scheme of things, besides fucking, you know what I mean? Like the types of hops you're using and trying to make your own identity out of it. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. It's just West Coast was pine. You know what I mean? East Coast is less of that. Done and done. It was basic, man. Like fucking IPA back in the day. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say like I'm like a big West Coast IPA from the get. Like I didn't like IPA until newer, not hazy New England, but new school IPA kind of came into effect. Because I wouldn't even lump, even though I would classify Heady, would classify Second Fiddle, I would classify those breweries as New England style IPA. I would also kind of keep them out of that conversation and be like they're kind of somewhere in between. You know what I mean? They're obviously not hazy New England style hazy, but there are New England IPA. They're literally the thing that created New England IPA, so it's the impetus for the reason why it exists. But like West Coast IPA, like I love them now for their cleanness. Yeah. It's all that's it. It's not so much that it's the best IPA I've ever had, but there's just such a surgical preciseness to it that makes me happy more than the expressiveness of the Bolton hops and stuff. In the grand scheme of things, they're usually a little bit too sweet for me. They're like saccharin, like white sugar kind of sweet.
Okay.
I've always got that from West Coast IPAs, and it's not my favorite thing in history. Crystal malt, basically, and but it works well with that bitter.
Fucking hate crystal malt.
Yeah, well, that's what it is, though. You know what I mean? Like it is.
See, I'd say it's Munich rather than Crystal.
Yeah, well,
Crystal, I can spot a fucking mile off. That's because it's fucking British beer. Crystal malt. For a long time, it'd upset me if I bought a beer and then on the back it's like Crystal malt, fucking ruined it. Fucking Crystal malt. Just kind of like bloody toffee, too toffee. West Coast, I want it really stripped back, really clean. But I was always recently there's a Dutch online shop, and they've had loads of US stuff in, and they're all on the kind of like smart, more kind of old school kind of side, and they had a load of knee deep, and I brought some knee deep back from California in 2014, and I just remember that like Sintra being like, even though it's like 11.25, it's a ridiculously good beer.
Speaking of West Coast IPAs,
Bigfoot, mate. I want it, but that's it. I need it fresh. I've got a load of older. I've got like a 6 or 8 year vertical, and I just need.
I bought this today.
Yeah, I heard you earlier when I was cooking. I was listening. That was nuts. I can't remember the last year I got was. I've been 16, 17. Oddly, you can get it in Ireland.
You can't get it.
Different distributors. I don't know who distributes it over here. It was Fuller's for a while. It was a company called Vertical Drinks, which is in Kirkstall, which is just outside Leeds, which isn't far from me. But then, Fuller's got the contract, and we stopped getting anything apart from old pale ale in supermarkets, upsettingly. Drink Store. So there's this online shop in Ireland called Drink Store, which is ace. And for a short period of time, you could buy from them, but then I think they had a lot of problems with breakages and stuff, and so they stopped doing it because they weren't officially on there, but you could go on and be like, "Oh yeah, can you ship?" And it's like, "Yeah, well, it's at your risk. I mean, it's your if it don't get there, it's not our fault." I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." But I'm looking in there. They've got a State Farmhouse Ale.
Is that a good beer? The
what?
The Bigfoot. Is it a good beer?
Yeah, this with age on it. That's when it's good. Like this is only 4 years old. You need about 5-6 more years on it before it gets good.
I like it fresh. I think the oldest one I've got is 11. And then I've got 6-7 years from 11. Yeah. It's hoppy. It's really hoppy, fresh.
Yeah, that's why you need 10 years on it.
And there's like bourbon barrel aged versions, which is quite good. Once again, we had a number of kind of events like dinners we could go to with representatives of Firestone of Sierra Nevada, and food matching meals and stuff, and you get loads of crazy shit. Like they brought a year-old version and they brought a bourbon barrel aged version of Bigfoot. I'm just looking if they've still got some on Drink Store. Oh fucking hell! They've got a bourbon barrel. They've got a barrel aged torpedo. Didn't even know that existed.
Barrel aged torpedo.
Yeah.
They put that in like 9th use barrels. Like that's like we have extra torpedo. Throw it in that barrel. It's been sitting over there for about 5 years.
Okay. There we go. What barrel is it? Let's say what barrel it is. Bourbon barrel. No, it's a cool looking bottle.
Yeah. Anyway, we're at the 2-hour mark. I think we're going to cut that short because I want to go sit outside and enjoy the last of the light. So, if you have any parting remarks, now would be the time.
Not really.
There you go. That's why they call him the best color man in the business. So, hopefully, you guys enjoyed the share. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed some Belgian doubles along this little route here.
I enjoyed it.
Rob cracked a 10-year-old bottle. I cracked a 2-year-old bottle. We had some pastry stout up in this piece. We had all kinds of beer up in here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the little show. Let me know what you think about the doubles that you've had either tonight or recently. And let us know what you want to drink in the last bottle share. Like I said, or the next bottle share, I should say. We hadn't done these for a couple months because of COVID, but we'll start kicking them back up. And let's vote on some stuff. We've covered some Belgian Goldens. We've covered some Dogfish Head beers. We covered a bunch of different stuff. So taking off Rory's kind of thing, I kind of want to do a pastry stout. What would be like a readily available pastry stout? I don't know what that is. That's the whole, the whole concept is it's readily available. A good portion of the people can grab the beer. Or should we get it more free form? Should we just say, let's drink this style rather than pigeonholing a specific beer? And then we'd be like, everybody bring a pastry stout. Everybody bring an American barley wine. Everybody bring this kind of beer. Should we do that? There are no rules in the beer share other than you got to fucking bring beer. No shelfies if it's fucking important shit, by the way. That's a joke because this is all shelfies. Anyway, so yeah, let me know what you think. We could do a generic kind of like style kind of beer share and do anything like that. And we'll see what's what. We had one question to finish this off. We'll leave that as that. This is massive. Have you had Back East double scoops yet? That's what I'm drinking right now. Great beer. It's the big brother of Ice Cream Man that you didn't like, I believe. I did not like the Ice Cream Man. I thought it was a little bit let down, but I have not had any beer other than that one beer from those guys. So I have not had that. So take that for what it's worth. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of good beer right now. Hopefully you feel like Rory right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.